Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Easier said than done. That's asking us to change our habits. Our habits. Do you realize that sometimes those who come into this world, infants, come in with habits? Yeah. Sucking their thumb. That's a habit. They were doing it in the womb, and as they were born, they continued to do it. Now, yes, that's an analogy of a habit. We have many habits that we've come or we carry with us as a result of having this relationship with Jesus Christ that no longer are necessary. And how do we break those habits? You know, it's challenging sometimes because it reminds us here in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 10, he says, we demolish arguments. This is Paul talking. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So that means every thought that comes into our head, we are to take captive. We're to actually just say, Lord, is this going to be obedient to you? So we have to be intentional. We have to actually get ourselves to think this way. We have to think differently than the way that we have in the past. Because, brother, otherwise we're going to go back to our default, which is always saying, oh, it's just a habit. I do it all the time. And use that as the reasoning for why we continue on in behaviors that aren't necessarily the best. In Philippians, he reminds us here, do everything without complaining or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure children of God, without fault in a crooked and depraved generation. Now, if you look at our world today, brother, there's a lot of challenges that are taking place, but there are opportunities of being able to submit to God and to be more like Christ. Because it begins with you and I, individually. Let Jesus have our heart. Let Him be the Lord of our life, the manager of our life, this day. And when we seek to line every thought that comes into our mind with being obedient to Him, I can probably guarantee that we're going to be on the right track. That's where He wants us, brother. If you want some reading, read Philippians 2. Talk about our attitude, how it should be the same as that of Christ Jesus. Philippians 2. Check it out. Brother, blessings to you and to your family this day. Let's be aware of His presence in our lives. Ask Him for forgiveness and turn away, a heartful turn away from that sin that keeps drawing us back. Let's be done with it. Ask for forgiveness. Let Him purify us. Brother, there is work to be done for His kingdom, and you're part of it. God bless you, brother. Submit to Him. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Go Jesus. Shalom.